Hi, welcome. On this video, I'd like to discuss the issue of expectations, okay, through the dog training process, and the issue about, ask the question, what does the human get out of it? Because again, people go into it based on the established kind of norm, okay, what the typical approach is to resolving behavior issues. As a type of learning-based exercise. Again, I talk at length as to why that is such a tremendous problem by way of this response-based alignment, okay, where things will look great, but absolutely no change happen beyond just appearances, okay. And again, I'd really encourage you to check, in depth as to what I'm saying. I got a bunch of videos on that. But going further than that, to get in this thing about expectations, about having fun, okay? Because people say, well, Dale, I want to have fun with my dog. I want to be able to do certain things with my dog. And I kind of joke with people, say, well, the reason you're in the mess you're in is you've had too much fun, okay? You've not reconciled your thinking properly. It's been too much about emotion, okay? About your emotional needs and all that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be negative here. We get dogs to fulfill, part of our life, which is a good thing. I mean, if you didn't, care about dogs, you wouldn't have a dog in the first place. But the problem there is, understand dogs are social relational animals. So just like being a parent, okay, you have to promote right relationship. Okay, love goes beyond just what I get out of it. Okay, it has to be about meeting the needs of another at the same time. And this holds true whether it's parenting in the human world or bringing a dog into our life. Okay, we have to make sure that we're not allowing our emotions to lead. Okay, it's got to be about promoting meeting a dog's relational needs. But this issue about fun, okay, is a real big problem, because here's the thing: the learning-based narrative in itself is set up that way. Okay, even the majority of trainers have aligned themselves with this narrative, so it's all set up to kind of empower the owner. And again, that is a tremendous problem if a dog's holding control, and the expectation is to align how people think. It promote a different way of thinking, okay, and approach training for what it is a relational changing process at an intervention level. Then what can happen is you can get into this whole problem with, again, things looking good but not being good, in the sense of things, relational change happening. So, but again, here's the thing about, when you have a natural alignment. So for example, I could, start off, and I did, okay, training when I was in a police canine handler and trainer, have all sorts of fun. Okay, based off of the fact that I think properly, that my thinking process was already reconciled and aligned. So, I was already promoting right relationship through how I was thinking through leadership and through how I was interacting. Okay, even though I didn't have quite everything set in place in terms of understanding the methodology where I'm at today, understanding the process and what it does to help people. At the time, I was doing certain things that were just naturally creating that type of alignment, okay? And so I was, I could pet the dog and do all sorts of things, and relational change is still going to happen based on how I thought. But the problem here is, again, people get into this thing about using this learning narrative as a go-to for fixing behavior problems. It's when you get that in the mix of how people think, it's not helpful, because again, it does not put the spotlight where it needs to be. It shifts the focus onto the dog rather than the person, okay? And again, you need to remove that from the equation, especially if your goal is to, okay, create relational change. Okay, if your goal isn't that, okay, and you've already created relational change, then using treats or whatever you want to do, toys or whatever, that's not a problem. I want people to understand that there's a sequencing here. But the problem here is there's a lack of insight and understanding as to what the process needs to be when a person is not in the right relationship. When you have certain things happening, then that narrative is extremely detrimental, okay, to change. Okay, it has to be removed from the equation. So anyway, just something to think about in terms of, you know, having fun. You know, people have to kind of get over themselves to understand that you have to go through the kind of the process. You have to approach it a certain way first, and then get the relationship, the foundation set, and then move on from there. So thanks for watching.